If you don't build consistency, you're never gonna have the group chat that you want. Hi there, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is where we do more of everything. So from friendship to fun to faith to adventure. If you feel like this is for you, definitely hit that subscribe button down below and let's get into the video. Okay, so welcome to today's video. If you guys saw by the thumbnail, today it is a chit chat and it says be social, it's a flex. Okay, so one thing that I realized, especially being somebody that is labeled as an extrovert, a lot of people come to me and ask me like, yo Mo, like how are you so confident, or like how are you not afraid to speak to people, how are you not afraid, it doesn't matter if they're famous or you just met them, or like literally you're in a somewhat intimidating space, you're still able to hold yourself down, and how would you do that? So one of the things that I really wanted to do today is to encourage people to be more social, right? If you go on social media, a bit like Instagram and TikTok, like everybody's always talking about, how to, have boundaries and guard yourself, blah, 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 blah. But nobody's really teaching people how to be social, like how to go out there and make the best of your time and how to reap from the relationships that you have or the spaces that you're in, even if you only there once. Okay, so let's get into it. Point number one, so how to be social, how to be more social, is to shift your mindset. A lot of people that I've seen, especially in the creative space, they often set out to impress one another, right? So you now must go from the mindset of impressing to the mindset of wanting to make connections, because a lot of times when you're trying to impress somebody, you kind of always listening not to receive but listening to respond, right? Or listening to now put out another piece of information about yourself that can make you be perceived in a certain manner or certain light to this person. So you will literally yap. And yap can sometimes be unnecessary, because the people can really miss the great things about you, or things that they were curious about you. Like people probably wanted to ask you questions, or really wanted to see if you're worth their time, but you spend time doing above and beyond and not being yourself, so much so that you kind of miss the genuine connection. Point number two, be curious. Okay, like if you're going into places that maybe you need to do a little bit of research, do what you have to do, but be curious. And when I say curious, I mean be open-minded, like have questions, like literally going back to the point about listening to, don't just listen to respond, but listen to receive, like want to actually know the people or the person that are standing before you, whether it's in a professional capacity or a personal capacity. People really enjoy when people are taking them in and are really living in the moment, and they realize that, whoa, like this person actually valued my time and valued my opinion. Number three, show up consistently. So what I've seen, especially in this generation, is the lack of consistency, and in a lot of things that happen, but especially in maintaining or trying to build new relationships. A lot of people don't have the luxury of still keeping or maintaining relationships with people that they've known for years, be it from primary school, high school, or uni. Not everybody has that somebody that they've known for a multitude of years, or even so, not everybody feels close enough because they've grown and changed and gone into different areas, countries, places, even jobs and careers, and that kind of molds who we are, right? So when you're consistent in wanting to build, literally you guys, if you don't build consistency, you're never gonna have the group chat that you want. You're never gonna have the access that you want if you don't know how to continuously stay curious and continually stay open-minded and continually stay present. You're not going to be able to maintain you being a social person, because you're just going to be going from one person to the next and not really learning anything about you. Because a lot of times, what do we say? we only see ourselves when a mirror is being held up. And so for me, I prefer that mirror to be the eyes of another person, because necessarily when it's me in a silent mirror, a mirror that doesn't look back, I will know what about me is great and what about me needs to be adjusted. So having a certain level of consistency, especially with new relationships, it teaches you new things about yourself and gives you a sense of courage and confidence when it comes to you being social in different rooms and new rooms or spaces that you haven't been there before. There's a certain level of security that you feel from your consistency that then allows you to want to form new bonds and even be able to guard certain bonds and know that, okay, this is a close friend, this is an acquaintance, this is more of a business relationship and so forth. But you being consistent allows you to have those parameters, as opposed to someone who's always touch and go. They never know what they're doing right or what they're doing wrong because they're not building that consistency. Number 4, be vulnerable. And when I say vulnerable, I don't mean overshare. Okay, there is a level of vulnerability that you can get as a human being without you oversharing or feeling like people are overstepping or you allowing people to overstep in your life. For example, if you're in a space and people are having conversations about something that is dear to you or something that you've experienced, don't be afraid to weigh in, because it's your wisdom that's gonna spark curiosity in others about you. So sometimes we are too guarded and too selfish in the moment that we actually block our blessings, in the sense that might have been a beautiful contribution that you might have had to the conversation, whether it's 2 people, a group of people, whether it's in a workspace, a personal, whether you're at a festival, it doesn't matter. Whatever place that you're often afraid to even weigh in on, though you have that experience. Of course, there's the wisdom of knowing when to keep things to yourself, hence I'm saying don't overshare. But don't be afraid to be vulnerable. And vulnerability as human beings is one of our greatest traits, because that's where we're able to meet each other, where we're meeting each other at our humanity. So number 4 is definitely be vulnerable, and to be vulnerable, you don't have to overshare. Number 5, it sounds like consistency, but it's not the same. Follow up and check in. For example, a lot of us, when we see people who are like hustlers and it's people that constantly like follow up and check in and and we kind of get overwhelmed by those people that we tend to not learn anything from them. There's one thing that I've learned, is that a little bit of persistence goes a long way, and it's super uncomfortable to be persistent and super uncomfortable to check in, because sometimes you have that thing of, oh, but they haven't followed up with me, but they haven't checked in. But this part is about you. It's about what you want to gain from this friendship or relationship that you guys are building or connecting. So it's very important to say, hey, we're just checking in about what we discussed on Wednesday. Hey, just following up on our conversation. Hey, just following up on a question that you had. You don't know, but some people do have a lot going on. Yes, I will not deny there are a group of people that maybe also themselves are struggling with communication, but also you being the prompt will open the door for that to say, hey, actually, pick up the phone. Hey Mo, you literally, I forgot about last week. How about we meet? How about we have a cup of coffee? So forth and so forth. And this is for both like professional and personal relationships. It's quite important to check in, because a lot of us have isolated and separated because we are afraid to check in, and we're afraid to be checked in on. So when somebody calls or they text or they follow up, we often kind of label that as invasion and not understanding that it's intentionality and perseverance, I guess. But yeah, so definitely follow up and check in with those that you're trying to maintain a relationship with or build a relationship with, because essentially we're at that time where meeting new people is such a big deal for everyone, especially post-COVID till this day, because people have kind of accustomed and acclaimed themselves with social anxieties and fear and so forth. Number 6, I'm gonna say leave time limitations or time expectations. Let me unpack. So a lot of us, we kind of equate the depth of a friendship or relationship to the time or the distance it's traveled, and that then blocks us experiencing depth with people that have just come into our lives. I can use an example. I had a friend in the US. We literally known each other for like a month, and I realized, and I was like, had I had those time restrictions, there's certain conversations he and I would not have had, and certain things I would have noticed about myself and him, like vice versa. And so for me, I kind of took that as a lesson that no matter who comes into my life, if we connect on the spot, about, I'm not going to be afraid to see what that connection is. I'm not going to be afraid to explore that connection because I have not known them for 5 years, because I have not known them for 10 years, because we didn't grow up together. There were things in those conversations that we would have every other day where we reveal things that we may not have revealed to people that we've known for years. And that's because we were meeting each other where we're at, and we decided, hey, on day one, we were like, we click, you click. He was like, dude, you my best friend. And we died of laughter. But I literally noticed in that moment that had he not had that like expectation of time for us to even be friends, we would not experience the friendship that we had, right? So it's very important that you don't limit time, that you don't set a time limit or a time expectation, but rather let people's character and their consistency be what proves the weight of your relationship. Okay, you guys, so this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys take these 6 points and apply them to your life, and know that just because you label or you've been labeled, you label yourself or you've been labeled as an introvert, that you don't have the ability to connect with others. It's so not true, because you were designed by God for God, okay, and through God. So which means anything that God has the ability to do, he can give you strength to do so. So don't let society or anybody around you kind of label you as shy and introverted, because even if you experience those things or all those things, it doesn't limit your ability to make connections with others if you put yourself out there and follow these 6 points. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next time. Mwah, more life.